Hello, curious thinkers. Today, we're diving into a question that has puzzled kids, adults, teachers, superheroes, and philosophers for centuries. A question that seems simple until you start looking at it from different angles. Is lying always wrong? At first glance, the answer feels obvious, but once you begin to explore real-life situations, things suddenly become much more complicated. Imagine you accidentally break your mom's favorite cup. Your heart starts beating fast, your brain starts searching for excuses, and a tiny voice inside whispers, maybe just say the cat did it. Lying in that moment might feel like the quickest way to escape trouble, but does that make it right? Philosophy asks you to pause, breathe, and think about the deeper meaning behind your choices. Most people agree that lying can hurt others. It can break trust, cause confusion, create fear, and make relationships feel shaky. When someone lies to you, it feels like the ground beneath your feet isn't solid anymore. So in many cases, yes, lying can be harmful and therefore wrong. But wait, things get interesting. Imagine your friend just had a terrible haircut and they proudly ask, "Do I look good?" If you tell the honest truth, "You look like a pineapple wearing a wig," you might hurt their feelings even if you didn't mean to. In this moment, is it kinder to be honest or kinder to be gentle? Some philosophers say kindness is more important than harsh honesty, but others say honesty should never be bent, no matter what. Then imagine an even trickier situation. What if someone is in danger and lying could protect them? If a bad person asks you where your friend is hiding, telling the truth could put someone at risk. In that case, is lying still wrong? Many philosophers argue that protecting a life is more important than telling the truth, and that sometimes a lie can be the more moral choice. But this leads to a bigger question. How do we know when lying helps and when it hurts? Lying to avoid punishment feels different from lying to protect someone. Lying to impress people feels different from lying to surprise someone with a birthday party. The reason behind the lie matters because intentions shape the final outcome. Think about white lies, the tiny lies people tell to be polite, like saying someone's drawing looks great when it actually looks like a confused potato with legs. Some people believe these lies are harmless and protect feelings. Others say that even small lies can create habits, and habits can grow into bigger problems if we stop paying attention. And what about lying to yourself? People sometimes pretend everything is fine when it isn't, or tell themselves they're not good at something just because they failed once. These lies can be sneaky and dangerous because they stop you from growing, learning, or asking for help. Some philosophers say honesty with yourself is the most important honesty of all. Let's look at promises. When you lie, you often break a promise without even realizing it. The promise to be trustworthy, to be clear, and to make people feel safe with you. Trust is like glass, strong but also fragile. Once cracked, it can be fixed, but it's never quite the same. That's why many people believe lying is wrong, not because of rules, but because of the invisible damage it can cause. But honesty isn't always simple either. Telling the truth in the wrong way, at the wrong time, or with the wrong tone can hurt people just as much as a lie. That's why philosophers talk about wise honesty, honesty mixed with kindness, timing, and understanding. In other words, the truth matters, but how you deliver it matters too. Imagine you're playing a game and you secretly move a piece when no one is looking. That's a lie through actions, not words, but it still affects fairness. It creates an invisible imbalance, and suddenly the game doesn't feel fun anymore. Philosophy reminds you that honesty builds fairness, and fairness builds trust. Now imagine you're trying to avoid hurting someone's feelings by lying. It seems kind, but if they find out later, they might feel even more hurt because the lie shows you didn't trust them to handle the truth. This is the tricky part. Lies meant to protect can sometimes cause more harm than the thing you were trying to avoid. So is lying always wrong? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. It depends on intentions, consequences, timing, and the balance between honesty and kindness. Some philosophers say lying is always wrong because truth is the foundation of trust. Others say lying can sometimes be good when it protects someone from harm or supports kindness. The real lesson is that every choice requires thoughtful consideration. Maybe the best way to think about lying is this: honesty is like a compass. It helps you find your direction and make choices that build stronger relationships, deeper trust, and a clearer sense of who you are. But sometimes, in rare moments, the compass bends a little to protect someone from harm, and wisdom is knowing when those moments truly matter. In the end, the question is not just is lying always wrong, but what kind of person do I want to be? A person who thinks carefully, cares about others, and chooses honesty whenever possible grows stronger, kinder, and more trustworthy, and builds a world where truth feels safe, simple, and shared.